Bonjour and welcome to a new unboxing video. And today I've got a box from Super7 in the US. So you know that when it is Super7, it's usually ReAction figures, which we all love. And so I'm going to open quite a few of those. But before I do have, you can see it here, but I'm going to show it to you better. I'm not opening it because I think the packaging is way too cool, and it is actually a Super7 Live Long and Prosper Spock action figure that they did. I think it was a Target exclusive in the US. They did that this summer at the time of the San Diego convention. It's actually very, very cool. So you've got Live Long and Prosper in the back, and we do have a very, very holographic, shimmery, glittery packaging in front, showing of course the Live Long and Prosper. I can't do that with the left hand. That's better. So basically you do have the Live Long and Prosper sign, and you do have an action figure of Spock, which is actually of course a ReAction figure of Spock with his little tricorder, and it does say Live Long and Prosper with his little hand. It probably means that we're going to have a collection of classic Star Trek ReAction figures soon, but it hasn't been announced yet, so I'm not quite sure. So here you go. Just wanted to show you that it was an exclusive. I think it's still available in the US from Target. It's very complicated to get otherwise, except via eBay and all those things. But we do have quite a few things. In there, we do actually have two lines of toys. We're going to start by the new line of toy, and the other line is actually a second wave of something they've already done. And we'll start with this new line, which is really cool, of Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride. It's absolutely lovely. I mean, the packaging is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adore this. This is very cool. It is of course they are ReAction, but they've actually adapted their style more to the style of the movie, and you do have in the back the three figures that are in the wave, which are of course the Emily the Bride, the General Wellington, and Victor. So we're going to open those and see what they're like, but they look really, really nice. I mean, the packaging are the same, so I'm not going to show you the packaging each time, and we've got quite a few things to show you. So I'm going to just rip open as I always do. So let's see what we've got here. So here you go. Here is the bride. The reason why I was being very careful is that she actually has a fabric veil, which is in a very shimmery tulle-like fabric. So she's really lovely. I absolutely adore her. It's fantastic. And she does have little boots and a skirt, of course. Articulate her feet are articulated, but it's quite limited what you can do with her because of the skirt. Arms are also actually yes, both of them are. So you do have the skeleton arm, which is a bit less articulated than the other arm, and she can of course in her arm she does have a, you may not be able to see it correctly, but it is actually her bouquet of flower, which we're going to put in her left hand, hoping it holds, because I find that it's not always easy to have those done. So here you go. We do have the bride here. I mean, she's very, very detailed. I absolutely love the paint job. Is absolutely beautiful. A very, very, very nice little figure. It feels so thin and spindlery. I mean, I really, really like her. So here you go. That's the first one out. Then of course any bride needs a groom, so we're going to get the groom out. What I find nice is that all of the blisters actually have the shape of a coffin, which I think is kind of cute. So Victor of course come with an accessory that is his little dog. So, and actually it's interesting because the dog has an articulated head, which I didn't expect. I'm not quite sure that the dog actually stands easily. Oh yes, it can actually stand. So we do have the dog here, and here is Victor. Once again, really great figure. Lots of details. I mean, you do have the pinstripe trousers, so you can see all the details. The paint job is pretty good. I'm actually quite impressed with those. So of course he has his legs that are articulated, but of course because of the cut of the jacket, it doesn't go very far. He does have his arms articulated and the head, and he does come with his little doggy. I'm very surprised that they actually articulated the dog's head, because I would have expected them to do just a simple. It's difficult to stand there. So, I would have thought they would have done like just a lump of plastic. So it's nice that the dog is actually articulated. And then here is the third. I mean, I love it when they put accessories in ReAction figures, but you have to admit that some of those are quite tiny. And this is definitely the case with that little beer stein, or that little bottle of wine. I mean, that's very tiny. And here is the character. He looks really great. I mean, it does have this hole through him, which is really quite fun. He does, of course, his head is not that much articulated. You can move it. He does have an articulated arms, but of course they are limited as well, and he does have articulated legs. And you can see, I mean, that's how detailed it. You can see actually his bones here, and his bone here. It's actually very cool. I wish you could actually put the stein in his cavity, and of course it's going to have problems holding his accessory. Can he hold the bottle? Nah, the bottle is not going to hold. Can he hold the stein? Yeah, he can hold the stein. So here we go. We do have the three figures from the Corpse Bride, and they are Emily, Victor, and General Wellington. So that's actually very cool. I actually like those. I wasn't too sure what they would be like when I ordered them, but they're a very nice surprise indeed. Will he stand? No, I mean, with characters that are so thin, it's of course quite difficult to have them stand. So here you go. That was the Corpse Bride, and then we do have a second line of figures, and that's actually a wave 2. You remember they had done the Nightmare Before Christmas. We had covered the first wave, and that was about a year and a half ago or something like that. And they are doing a second wave, and the second wave is with Dr. Fickelstein. Look. Oops. The Pumpkinkin, because of course we need to have a Jack. Oogie Boogie. The Undersea Gal, well, and last but not least, the Wolfman. So we're going to open all of those. It's interesting because it's a mix of characters that had been released when they did the first line of toys. You remember when Super7 ReAction was actually collaborating with Funko. They had already done the first series of Nightmare Before Christmas. So they've actually done a mix of the characters that they had already released. And I'm pretty sure there was a Wolfman, there was of course a Oogie Boogie, and there was a Pumpkinkin, whereas the other ones are brand new. So I'm going to show you all of the figures have different blisters. So you can see the Wolfman has an image of the Wolfman. The Oogie Boogie has an image of Oogie Boogie. Same thing for the Pumpkin King and the three others. Of course, Finkelstein and the Lock. I mean, they've done really a good job, and the Seagull has a different front of packaging. The back is the same, so you do have, actually they are showing you that was the first line, the first wave, which was just Jack Skellington with Zero Sally, the Harlequin Demon, the Vampire, the Witch, and the Mayor. That was the first wave, and that is the new wave. And we're going to open them. I love the packaging. I think the packaging is really brilliant, but that won't prevent me from ripping the figures out of the packaging as usual. So we do have got an accessory. So we do have the Wolfman. Wolfman looks absolutely fantastic. He does have, of course, articulated legs, articulated arms. Feels that plastic is very, very hard compared to the Corpse Bride here. They are very, very hard, but very nice. And it's got, of course, his head articulated. So very cool figure, nicely detailed. Once again, the paint job is incredible. And he does come with a bone, which probably, if we're lucky, will fit in his hand. Yes, you can actually put the bone in his hand. So and it stands, which is great. Sorry, we got a bit of a frog in my throat, which is fitting for a froggy, I suppose. And then we're going to open the Pumpkin King. So the Pumpkin King, of course, is Jack Skellington, as you all know. And he comes with... it's actually, once again, a very nicely detailed figure. I mean, they've done a very, very good job again. I do think that Super7 has upped their game. And you do have the torch, which is actually partly transparent plastic. And of course, we can put the torch in his hand so that he can set fire to the bonfire. Well, to his pumpkin head. So what we still have 4 to go. Sorry, I'm losing the track here. Let's see. Oogie Boogie seems to be quite similar to the original one they had released. They had done it in 2 versions originally. One was the regular standard figure, and the other one was a glow-in-the-dark version. And he had actually exactly the same position, but it definitely is a new sculpt, because of course he does have the dice, which he didn't have because you were able to... That is a very, very tiny spider, but you do have this little spider thing, or is it a spider or is it a beetle? It's more like a beetle. It's very difficult to show you because it's very, very, very tiny. Same thing, he's got his legs are articulated, arm are articulated, and well, sadly you can't put the insect on his arm because he's got the dice, but that's actually a very cool figure again. And now it's the 3 new figures which hadn't been done. So we've got Lock, and I hope Lock, of course, is sold with his mask, because Lock, Shock, and Baron each have a mask. Once again, very, very nice little figure, very good sculpt, and very nicely painted. It's got its little demon tail, and you do have the mask here with the green. Let's see if we can attach his mask easily or not. Well, I'm not sure that it would hold very well, but you can actually put his mask on, which is really cool. I'm not sure that it will stay that way very long. So, and we do have two more. The Undersea Gal. Undersea Gal had never been done before, so she really is a completely new character in ReAction form, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. She really is. So she of course doesn't have any leg articulation. She does have a fin, and you do have the arms with beautifully detailed. I mean, those paint jobs are fantastic, and of course she can turn a neck. I'm really nicely surprised at how good the paint job and the sculpts are on this. So let's see if she can hold, because it must be quite difficult to find. Yes, you need to balance her to hold. Basically that's the only way for her to stand, because of the strange way her feet are done. But very cool figure again. And last but not least, I kept this one for last because that's a huge amount of things. Got it. So we do have Dr. Filkenstein. The great thing is, I instinctively I looked at it, and there is actually a hinge so that you can actually open his skull to see his brain, which is really cool. He's got, of course, his articulated head, articulated arm, and I don't think, well, he wouldn't have an articulated legs, which is not a problem, because he comes with two things. One which is going to be difficult to take out. So he's got a very nice skull accessory, and it's really very cool. Same thing, once again, there is a lot of details in that. And then you do have his wheelchair. I'm going to show you the wheelchair without, because I mean the wheelchair is so nicely detailed. I mean, you've got the little handles here. Of course, it rolls, and that's a simple. But it's so nicely done. I mean, they could have done just a lump, but no, there's differences in colors, and they've got the little handles have some silver. I mean, they've done a great job with that. And once we put him in, let's see if he fits correctly in his. So here we go. Here we go. We do have Finkelstein in his wheelchair, and you can even put the skull on his lap if you want. So that's really cool. And that's it for today. So we do have the Corpse Bride, 3 figures, Emily, Victor, and the General Wellington. And we do have wave 2 of The Nightmare Before Christmas, with the Wolfman, the Undersea Gal, the Pumpkinkin, Oogie Boogie, Locke, and Dr. Finkelstein, and all that from Super7. Everything except for Spock is available on the Super7 website, or through any of the usual stockists. I mean, there's few people who sell them in the UK. Notably, you do have Star Action figures that do have a big stock of Super7 figure. Forbidden Planet as well has a good stock of Super7 ReAction figures. And well, for Spock, it's basically just on the Target website or in the Target shop that you will be able to find it in the US. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye!